Hey, Stacey Hall from staceyhall.com. Do you absolutely get terrified that somebody's going to ask you if you're in a pyramid scheme? This is one of those objections that really seems to stop people in their tracks. They are just so terrified that somebody's going to pull out the P word and they're not going to know how to handle it. I totally understand, because I think for probably a solid year, I would just fall all over my words and be completely incapable of forming a sentence the minute somebody threw out the pyramid word. So I understand where that's coming from. But there's actually a pretty easy way of handling this objection. So when somebody asks you, is this a pyramid scheme? The first thing you want to do is to establish what kind of energy they're putting out when they say it. Because a lot of times when somebody says, is this a pyramid? They're not necessarily saying that as a negative thing. It's almost like to that person, they've heard that word thrown around before and they use it almost interchangeably with the term network marketing. So they don't necessarily have a negative connotation, they just think that's what it's called. So they might come to you and say, oh, is this one of those pyramid deals? And then you stop because you think, oh my God, they said the P word, but really all they want to know is is that the sort of business paradigm that it exists in? So if their energy is positive, and this is something I learned from Ray Higdon, if their energy is positive, then you're going to handle the situation totally differently than if someone's being accusatory in their tone. So if somebody says, is this a pyramid, and they don't seem negative, or they seem still totally casual and jovial, then you want to find out why they're using that term. So you would say to them, oh, well, why do you ask? Is that something that you're familiar with or that you have experience with? And that way you can kind of gauge why they're asking you that question, because they might then say to you, oh, I have a friend who did that before, or oh, I've bought some products from a friend who does that, or whatever. You'll be able to determine what it means to them, and then you can answer it accordingly. So if it's a positive thing to them, then you can say, yeah, it's network marketing. It's an awesome business model. I totally love it. Or, you certainly don't want to skirt the issue. You can be straightforward with that person because they see it as a good thing anyway. Another way to deal with it is if they seem to have a negative connotation, like they're accusing you of being involved in a pyramid scheme, then the best way to deal with that is to just go, seriously? A pyramid? No, pyramids are illegal. I wouldn't be involved in anything illegal, would you? And then move on. And if they still are being negative with you and they're still coming back and almost attacking the industry and the business, you're not going to get that person to come around. Some people will tell you to start, saying things to them like, oh, well, did you know that Warren Buffett purchased a lot of network marketing companies, or Robert Kiyosaki writes books about network marketing companies and it's a great business paradigm. It's all true. But I've found that with people who are coming at you with a super negative attitude, they don't really want to see. It's kind of like a whole mindset with those kind of individuals. And if they did ever, for whatever reason, end up joining your business, you'd probably just be dragging them around all the time anyway, and they're just going to drive you nuts because you can't change somebody's mindset for them. That's something they got to do for themselves. So if they're super, super negative, move on. That's my advice. And if somebody asks you that question and you inquire and they tell you that they've been involved before and had a negative experience, that way you can kind of gauge why it is that they feel they weren't successful. And when you figure that out, then you're able to, help them see why this current situation is going to progress differently and they're going to have a better experience. If you have the background to why they're asking you the pyramid question, you're much more able to deal with answering it appropriately. The most important thing to remember when dealing with this objection or any objection is to not become combative or defensive. Not only does it not work, but it just actually creates a really negative environment and atmosphere, and that's never productive. So if somebody says, is this a pyramid? And you start going, oh yeah, not like your job. Your job's a pyramid and the guy above you makes all the money and blah, blah, blah. Trust me, the people are just looking at you like you're losing your mind. I have actually been on the receiving end of that lecture much earlier on in my life. And the funny thing is I never even asked the question, but that person came at me with this real combative explanation anyhow. I don't know if they had just learned it, but so I can tell you from being on the receiving end that it's very jarring and odd, and it just makes you want to run away. So never be defensive and never be combative. good rule of thumb to follow. And just to reiterate, you want to figure out why they're asking you the question. Is it positive? Is it negative? If it's positive, then yes, it's network marketing. Woohoo! Let's do this thing together. If it's negative, then you just want to tell them, no, of course not. Pyramids are illegal and I wouldn't do anything illegal, would you? Hope that helped. Like, comment, and share with anyone you think might benefit from learning how to handle this objection. If you're not on my blog, head on over to stacyhall.com. I've got some great training for you there, and you can also hop on my newsletter and stick around the campfire, get my tricks, tips, strategies, trainings, anything that's going to help you build your home business. Have yourselves an awesome day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.